guys, Kate Simsley here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad that you found us, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today we are building on the Nookstone property in Oasis Springs, and we're going to build a base game tiny house. I know that having a tiny house in base game is kind of irrelevant, but if you do have tiny living, this base game home will fit in as a tier 3 tiny home, being less than 100 tiles. So you get all the benefits of that comes with tiny living, but you can also use this if you simply have base game and want a tiny house. Here I am just doing the roofing, and actually I'm surprised. The roofing came together pretty well on this one. A lot of times I have to fiddle around and it takes me forever. But everything on this build just seemed to come together pretty quickly. Originally, when I started this build, I was not planning on creating a tiny house or a base game house. It just kind of worked out that way. At some point I realized, first of all, A, the house is tiny. B, it's mostly base game. You will see there are doors and windows that are not base game at first, but I do end up switching them out later, so don't worry, I've checked. Everything on this house is base game, and so if that's all you have, you can still download it. Here I'm putting a skylight in the roof. You can see that I took a section of roof, I moved it down to be one tile, I copied that to the other side, then I placed a glass piece in the middle. It added a lot of light on the inside, and I love the way that it turned out. I think it looks great. I started out with this swatch for the roof, and I do end up changing it out to a different one. Here I'm adding columns. These are not base game. They're actually get together, I think. I didn't realize it at the time, and it took me a while to figure it out, but they will eventually get switched out to base game pillars that are somewhat similar. They're just a little wider on the bottom. I'm going to be adding windows. The windows I add originally are not base game. They're actually from Discover University, but they looked so good. I end up switching them out later. Thankfully, we had base game windows that were similar, and it worked out well. So there I'm just changing up this roof swatch. I do end up setting it, I think, to a metal roof swatch here. But any of these would work. The metal one worked best, so I set it to that. And I'm just making a little path out front. We're going to move on to landscaping in a minute. I usually do not build in Oasis Springs because it is all desert, and when I do, I build on a lot that has grass, or I add grass, because, well, I live in Canada. I know nothing about the desert at all. I don't know what it looks like, what it feels like, none of that. Where I live is freezing. And though we do have landscaping because we have summer, it is definitely not desert landscaping, so this type of landscaping generally just intimidates me, so I avoid it. All landscaping, actually, if I'm being honest, intimidates me. It's something I need to practice more. If you have any tips, feel free to share them in the comments. I would really appreciate it. I am working on learning it a little more than I do. I think I do okay, however, it's not my strong suit. For this build, I just created a small garden with several plants that exist around the world. I went looking and found them, and I copied them here. Sorry. I like the way that it turned out. I think it looks pretty good. And I add some rocks just to give this garden some depth and character. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I put a bench by the front door, and yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's good. I do end up making this a little wider later, and I put some, grass around this bench. But that's about it. There's really not much. I think there's one or two trees out here. We got the dirt path, and yeah, we're gonna extend the windows. We're gonna add them to the other rooms, and we're gonna move on inside. I started with the kitchen, and this is when I realized I'm going to need more space. I put the door in this corner. It matched the front door. And I add the fridge, and I'm like, there's not much space here. I fiddled around a little bit, but I thought I really wanted a full-size kitchen. At this point, I wasn't even thinking of a tiny home, so I wanted a full-size kitchen. So I do end up extending the kitchen, I think, by one tile there, and it makes a huge difference. I shift the door over to the other side, and yeah, it just made such a difference. At some point here, I put a door that is from a complete other pack, but I do change it back. So I shift over the fridge, and I add a range hood. I don't know if I do that here. I think I put the bedroom doors. I'm putting these doors. Again, they'll get switched to base game. But yeah. So onto the bathroom, it's pretty basic. We have a shower, a toilet, and a sink, and that is about it. I didn't do too much with the bathroom, but I think that it is fitting for this little tiny house. I add this table into the kitchen, and I put it in the lightest wood swatch because I wanted to make this house light and airy. It made it seem bigger. And actually, when you get into this house and you play it, it's actually rather large for being a tiny house. Here we put the kitchen sink, and this is where we're going to switch out all the windows. I copied this window over, but I think I realized now that I had wanted base game, and that those windows were not base game. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink. So I widened the living room here. Oh, maybe this isn't where I switch out the windows. But I put this little half wall, and later on the TV is going to go by there. Here is where I switch out the windows. Luckily, base game had windows that were similar. I find if you're using just base game, the swatches all match. It's when you start using other packs that things will get all wonky. Like you'll have these windows with shutters, but you'll have one set with dark blue shutters, and the other set the blue will be just slightly off, and it drives me insane. But I managed to find these base game windows, and I put them all around the house, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. So we're going to add some lighting just so we can see what we're doing. Oh my goodness, my throat. And we add open shelving in the kitchen instead of cabinets. I felt like cabinets would close the space off and make it dark. And yeah, we place a range hood now over the stove there. I tried out the metal one, but it didn't seem to work, so I put in this one here as well as the smoke alarm. From there, we're going to place this TV. It's just a simple little TV over by the half wall. I originally was going to put it by the windows, but I thought that was too expected, so I tucked it in here, and I put the couch over by the windows, which you'll see in a minute. It looks really good. For the couch, I used this flea market find couch in the green swatch first. I do end up changing it out to the beige swatch later on, and I put these small base game side tables. I add some lamps onto the side tables, and I use these little lamps. I've really only ever used these in a little girl's room, but I thought they fit really well here. I add 2 chairs. Now, originally I started by adding tiny home, like the tiny living pack chairs, because I thought, what is the point of having a tiny home if you're in base game? But I thought afterwards, like, I'm sure base game, people who only have base game will still like to have a tiny home without the benefits. So I do switch them out. You'll see after I add the rug and coffee table, I switch them out for base game chairs. This rug here fit perfectly in the space, and so I chose to use that, and I'm going to add in this base game coffee table. I liked the runner up the middle of it, and I did it in this like bright orangish yellow color, and I find chairs that their swatch actually matches it pretty well. And I thought that it was like a fun pop of color. This home is like otherwise neutral, so the fun pop of color, it was really fun. I said fun a lot in that sentence. Sorry about that. Yeah, I like the way that that turned out. I thought it was pretty cozy, and like, as you can see there is a lot of space. I do add a window on this wall. Originally I wasn't going to, but it just seemed so empty, and base game does not have a lot of art, so I thought that adding a window would be a good way to fill that space. Here I think I'm going to be painting the outside of the house. Yeah, I choose this like earthy orange color, and yeah, it fits in with the world around it, so it worked out pretty well, and I extend the roof to color where I extended the living room, and I just adjust the roofing a little bit. Going back inside, I start painting the inside of the house. Now, you're going to see me try out this green color, and I absolutely love the green that I choose, but it's a little much, and I end up going back to just beige. Like, the whole house is just as beige. That's the green, and I absolutely love it. I did try the orange as well, but I figured that beige would be the best bet. It was brighter, and it made the space look more open. I wanted to add a closet, and then I realized base game doesn't have closets. But I added a wardrobe. I think I changed it to a lighter swatch on the sides later, but I love the way that it looks there. It's kind of like the front closet. We're also going to add this beautiful ceiling fan over the living room. I never use this because I feel like it should have a light built into it. I use debug wood planks. They're decorative wood planks, they're called, to create beams in the ceiling. And when you're in live mode and you look up at the ceiling, it looks fantastic. You'll see a picture of it here in a minute. It looks awesome. It kind of looks like the fan is hanging from the beams, so I like that a lot. right there, as you can see. It looks really neat, especially with the skylight above it. Moving on to the bedroom here, we're just going to add a couple of little pictures above the bed. We're going to put side tables and lamps. Again, I just used Basegame, so simple light wood side tables and some simple lamps to brighten up the room. I didn't put a ceiling light in this room. I thought it's a bedroom and it should look warm and cozy, so I just kept it dim. That's about it. We got some candles and a little bit of clutter there. We put a mirror and we add some clutter in the other corner. I think I put like laundry, yep, right there, laundry and sporting equipment in that corner. You could change it out for something else, but it worked. Here we're going to clutter up those kitchen shelves. I put some books to make it look like cookbooks and a few other little clutter items there. Nothing too crazy. Again, it's simple. I put this shoe rack at the front door there and throw a couple more kitchen items where I could. That's perfume, and I go put that on the bedroom dresser. I don't know why I was trying to put it on the shelf, but that's okay. Yeah, we've got like a little picture up here in the knife set, so it's pretty simple. We put this little book on the table, and we just shift everything back into place. We're going to take these pictures into the bedroom and lean them up against the wall, and then we're going to move on to painting the bedroom. I made a brick wall in the bedroom, and you'll see coming up, like, it took me forever to figure out which swatch of brick I wanted. I added some clutter onto that dresser, but here I am. I'm going to try out the brick. oh no, I have to put the carpet first. So I put this brown carpet, and then I move on to the brick. I tried out so many swatches, I ended up going back to the very first one that I had, and I only put it at the head of the bed. I do all the rest of the walls the same as the living room, and yeah, I switch out that to the other brick you'll see in a second, and I'm happy with the way that it looks. I was kind of worried about the brick because the outside of the house isn't brick, so like why would the inside be brick? But I figured maybe they stuccoed the outside like they did it over top, and this is the original brick showing through, so I thought that was kind of cool. Moving on to the bathroom here, I pick out a tile, and I end up actually extending it into the kitchen because the color matched the walls in the living room so well. So that worked out, and I was happy about the way that it looked. It made it, like, just look better. I add some art here in the living room, and I end up putting blue curtains to tie in the backsplash in the kitchen with the living room. I'm having a very hard time with words today. So yeah, I used these light blue curtains, and I thought that they worked well, and that's where I had changed the swatch of that couch. So we're going to add curtains in the bathroom and kitchen before we come back and just add some more clutter around the house. We're going to put a carpet in the bathroom, and I think we go back out and we add, we're going to do tile. So I added tile to the bathroom as well as the kitchen. Originally I had slanted the tile there, but I ended up making it whole tile and just fiddling with the table. You'll see that. I also put this ceiling light. Before we move on, we're going to add a plant on this half wall and another piece of art before moving outside. Outside, I start by adding outside lights, and then I pull a debug flower pot, which you'll see, and I put it across the backyard to separate the patio from the backyard. And that's about it. I think, yeah, we have a barbecue and a picnic table as well. So that's about it. We're going to head into screenshots shortly. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Any and all feedback is always welcome, and I absolutely love it. It helps me better my channel and grow and create better videos for you. This is on the gallery under Kate Simsley, or you can search the hashtag Kate Simsley, and you can find it that way. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be updated every time I upload. And yeah, that's about it. I look forward to seeing you next time. Sim on, Simmers.